So at NAB, we've been talking about Denoiser II, which we've completely rewritten. It's a revised version, and it's actually a free update for owners of Denoiser I. Currently, it's shipping for Adobe After Effects, but it will be shipping very soon for Premiere, Final Cut 7, Final Cut 10, and Media Composer 6. It's a very simple interface. It's a minimal interface. There's a lot going on under the hood in terms of the process by which it looks at the image and tries to identify different components. So areas that have a lot of detail are processed differently than areas that are just a flat, solid color of noise. Or perhaps there is actually enough light and there's not enough noise. So there's different problems going on any given frame or single frame in an image. And then that problem is compounded by the fact that it's actually running in time, so it needs to not only denoise the image, but not flicker over time. So Denoiser II does all of these things in terms of smooth denoising or smooth noise removal, but it carefully looks at the different components of the image to say, okay, this is low light, solid dark area, that's going to remove. This area is more detail, perhaps it's a face or hair or something like that. So a different process will step in on that chunk of the image to start to remove noise but preserve detail. And that's exactly what Denoiser does. That said, when you look at the interface, it looks very simple. You have more or less noise reduction or more detail or enhancement that is preserved. But there are dozens upon dozens of actual parameters that have been painstakingly set as default settings to optimize noise reduction for DSLRs. So not only low light noise, but as well as the compression artifacts that happen when recording to a DSLR. Beyond that, we are also introducing Arsenal, which is an iPad app. It's basically a portfolio review application on your iPad. It's a dedicated review environment. So rather than let's say an effects artist is working on 8 different shots for you, and you want to review them. You're out shooting or whatever, and you want to take a look at what your shots are right now. You can have them, emailed to you or sent to a Dropbox folder, and then you download them and preview them in your iPhoto library or something like that. But if you want to sit down and review this, you have all of your personal stuff mixed in. So Arsenal is a clean, dedicated review environment. You can sync it to an FTP folder or a Dropbox folder. So let's say I'm doing effects shots for you. I'll render them to a folder that's shared to your Arsenal. Well, you have an Arsenal directory that is looking at that same Dropbox folder. As I upload and render to that folder, it'll start to sync to your iPad, assuming it's connected to a network or internet or somewhere. And then you can review it, check through all of them, give feedback. There's an email link for every single one where you can send feedback. So it's just a dedicated portfolio or a reviewing environment for images and movies, or QuickTime movies, or that you can use. It's mainly targeted towards sort of producer directors. There's the main application is $4.99. There's also a free reader. So if I set up the directories and I publish them, my version of the app is $5. Anybody that just wants to read directories and look at them, it's a free application.